Okay, in this third video I'm going to show you how to code the two transcripts. So just want to emphasize that you should already have done some reading and initial analysis, maybe on a piece of paper, which I've done myself, and then it's about programming that into NVivo. So continuing from the end of video 2, you see we've got the MET transcript open here, and I've got a number of what I would call categories and what NVivo calls nodes that I want to code into the transcript. So just read what MET1 officer says. Riots spread due to the balance of opportunity and risk tipping. People saw the police struggle to contain mass looting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the text from the balance of opportunity and risk tipping to people saw police struggle, because this is what I would call a perceived opportunity. So I'm going to now click on it. It should already be on the Document tab. I'm going to click on the Code button, and then you have to click again on Code ... It's rather annoying, but that's how it is. Now it's saying nodes. We want to obviously we want to create what's called a node or a category in NVivo. Then you click on this button, New Node, at the bottom. And now I need to give it a name. Perceived opportunity. Press Enter and then press OK. So that has created one, what NVivo calls node, I would call a category. I don't know if there's another one. Here we are. In MET4 it says opportunity dictates when one crosses the divide. So I would say that's on the same subject. So I'm going to highlight this, then I'm going to go into Code, and then I'm going to go into, well, it's actually in this pull down list. I can just click on it here. So that means I have coded this text as well with that code. And that's essentially all you need to do. But we're doing it blind at the moment, so what we need is to be able to see what we're doing. So on this tab there are two other options called Coding Stripes and Highlight. So I click on Coding Stripes and then All Coding. You can see now this extra window appears on the right with perceived opportunity and a bit of black here, which means somewhere on this line it has that coding. And if I scroll up, you see it's got the same node has been coded somewhere in these first two lines here. We don't know exactly where. That's where the highlight comes in. Click on Highlight again, click on All Coding. Now you can see where it's been highlighted. So that's essentially all there is to it. I'm just going to do a few more. So we've got mass looting. There's another one here. So I'm going to click on Code, and then Code again, and then New Node, and I'm just going to call this looting. Press Enter, press OK. So that has now put a new node here, and mass looting, if I unselect it, you'll see that's also in yellow. Unfortunately there's only one highlighting color in NVivo. There's traditional rioting. I'm going to also select that and code that. Code, New Node. Now here I'm struggling because it's very hard to get away from the language used in the text. So I'm just going to have to use that. We generally recommend use different words to the words in the text when you are writing your node names. So there we have traditional writing. That's been coded. So opportunity to steal, I'm going to code that with what we've already had, which is perceived opportunity. So that is the same one again. Lack of a capable guardian. Well, there is something about an ineffective response, and maybe this is a very general node or category. So I'm going to code that. Lack of a capable guardian. Again, that's going to be code, new node, ineffective response, enter, OK. Secondary issues, tensions against the police within West Midlands. So now we've got conventional writing. Well, that's the same as traditional writing. So at least we're getting away from the language there. Tensions against policemen within West Midlands. That one I can also code. That seems to be something new. What can we call that? Society tensions. That'd be a good name for that. Good, so we got another one. You see all these nodes, they've got a separate column here in this coding stripes window. So we've got wider tensions amongst the public. So that one I would say is the same as what we've just done. Society tensions. Worsening economic situation. That is a different one, I would say. Code. New node. Poor economic outlook. So I'm going to give it a different name. That's that one. So copycat. That's a new one. People copying other people. So I'm going to give that a new name. I'm going to call that mimicking behavior. Just try and get away from the language. Then we got looting again, which is one of our nodes. And then opportunities is going to be under perceived opportunity. So now we've done the first two, we've got quite a few categories already. Uncertainty of being supported by government police, by government. So I'm just going to make that all, I think that's ineffective response again. So now we've got different agents. Hasn't really talked about the people involved yet. So I'm going to code all this and call it gangs. And then OK. And then the second part, we've got youth. Just want that quote. Good. Code, new node, youth. So again, it's difficult to get away from the language used in the text here. So I've done the first three. I think I'll leave it there for now. You see now it's a little bit too many to show, but you can change the size of these. So there we've got all of, I think it hasn't quite got all. You see there's a scroll bar here. Let's make that a little bit wider. There we go, that's all of them. The scroll bar's gone away. And I don't know if we can make this a bit narrower so we can see the whole of the text. Yeah, there's no scroll bar here or here. Not too bothered about this window. However, I'll make that one a bit, yeah, that's better. That one a bit broader. So you can move these around a bit. I'd like to see these names a little bit more. It's not really going to work. But I know that I've got 9 codes in the first file. That must be the Met one. So I'm going to close this file here, and I'm going to open the West Midlands Police one now and repeat what we were doing. Unfortunately, it doesn't show you the highlighting and coding stripes by default. You have to set this again. So you click on here, choose all, click on here, choose all. So we don't have any codings yet, but we've got this word copycat. So let's go into code, and that was mimicking behavior. So again, we've got copycat, and then that one is going to be mimicking behavior again, top one, and the third one, copycat, code, and mimicking behavior. So I desire to obtain free stuff. That sounds like a perceived opportunity, which is here. No obvious early judicial disposal. An overarching view was maybe just up to here. So this one is ineffective response, I would say, in terms of what we're using. Obviously you can come up with your own names and do your own analysis. So far I've been using the same nodes as I had in the previous transcript, but we can create a new one if we want, like the Duggan shooting was a catalyst. So I'm going to code that one, code new, and then I'm going to call that Duggan shooting. This was an event that preceded the riots. A certain man called Mark Duggan. Oh dear, I've just made a mistake. Let's just see what, as that hasn't done anything. Let's just do it again. Duggan shooting, code, code, new node, Duggan shooting, then OK. Good, so that's a new one I've created. So you should go through both transcripts and thoroughly analyze these. The more you can do, the better, because that will help with the later exercises. When you've finished going through the second one, I would recommend going back to the first one and see whether any of these new codes also appear here. So we've actually got I'm sure most did not even know about the shooting of Mark Duggan. So that would be Duggan shooting. So I'm going to add that one here, and then I have to make that a bit narrower. There we go. So that's got that code on here as well. Good. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you here. Obviously I've not done it thoroughly, I've just done a few examples. You would maybe have to spend maybe up to half an hour doing this so that you have a good coding. Try to use codes more than once. You can code the same text twice, there's no problem with that. Sometimes you have a longer phrase and in the middle of it you might have something smaller. That relates to something else.